I'll definitely touch on your windows. I don't know if you know what you can say about them, but
They're 50 years old.
are they really?
And not broken. So there's that.
Welcome to Red, White, and Bethune. We are Jen,
Kyle.
Ben,
Molly! Eli!
and we travel with our 4 dogs in our 1983 Silver Eagle bus. Come along as we show you America through our lens.
Hey, I'm Dan from Home Meets Road, and together with my wife Jessa and our 7-year-old Braxton, we live in this 180 square feet. Now, this is a 1972 Boles Aero Travel trailer, a competitor to Airstream back in the day, but didn't fare too well. So it is a steel frame, aluminum riveted body. We took it completely down to the frame and built it back up. So the only thing that's original is the frame, the body, and these 50-year-old windows, which are actually in one piece. So let's call it that. Real quick on the outside, we actually used the original door skin to cover up some of the holes we had. So that's why we don't have the original door anymore, but we did a wooden door instead, and this is actually an Ikea countertop.
Oh, nice.
That after 2 years on the road needs some loving. The factory axles were completely shot, so these are custom Dexter torsion axles with the biggest brakes possible, and they have done fairly well. One thing I would recommend if you're building your own rig, spend the money on the axles and spend the money on the tires. You're not going to regret it. Come on in. The windows is what sold us on the rig. We went out, saw it, parked in someone's backyard. It's been there for 15 years. He was using it as a storage unit. We saw the windows and we were sold immediately. Had them tow it over, tore everything off on the top, tore everything off on the bottom, slapped it on a couple of Harbor Freight casters and pushed it into the garage. And 10 months later she came out. So starting in the front section is our living room. Your usual Ikea couch that is stuffed to the gills here with stuff. This comes out, so it does turn into a queen if you need it to. We've got our mini split. This is everything 120 volts, so this is where we charge everything that needs 120. Everything that needs 12 volts gets charged in here. And everything up here is basically our power system. So we have 5 Battleborns on the bottom, and then from left to right, our solar charger, our main grounds, all of our main power, our 120 volt inverter, and then our 120 volt system. We have these big switchovers which basically allow us to control where power comes from and what it will power. For example, all of the systems off of our batteries and our inverter. This is a thermostat. It lets us know how the batteries are doing and all the electronics, and it actually will kick on some fans to keep it nice and cool in here. These are our 12 volt gauges, and these are our 120 volt gauges. What we did was, instead of running a whole bunch of wires from the electronics all the way to the back of the RV and wasting a lot of money doing that, we're running one big power wire to the back and one big ground wire, and then we have a fuse panel in the back that powers everything there. So these are our 12 volt fuse panels. We have 3. We have one up here, one for all the switches and lights, and one for the back. And we're doing the same thing here. One is specifically for the air conditioning, one is for our water heater, and one is for the rest of the 120 volt system. We have a full 40-inch TV in here on a televator, and we have everything on. So there's a switch here that turns on all the electronics for the entertainment center, and there's a secondary switch for the fireplace. Usually when we're showing someone the RV, the bed will be up. So this is a Murphy bed. It folds up, locks into place right here, And we have a table that mounts underneath that then folds down so we can work. But yeah, it's a disaster down there at the moment. We are at America's mailbox. Right now we are changing residency to South Dakota just to make life easier on the road. We had a lot of mail and equipment sent here that's been a pain in the butt to get. And all of it is kind of like shoved under there right now. So anyway, that's that story. Initially, we had a moving wall, so Braxton would have its own bedroom, and you still see the remnants of like where the mounts were for the wall to move. The main issue we had was we couldn't get his bedroom to cool down when we set it up. The air conditioning wouldn't go. So we ripped that down and we went to now just having a curtain for him at night. Moving on to our Ikea kitchen. One nice thing with Ikea is that you can literally design this whole thing in their store or online. We designed all of it. We measured from the door to where we knew the bed would be and kind of figured out the rest. So this is a 16-inch countertop. So these usually is what you would put on the top, not on the bottom. These are your 15-inch regular counters, but it works for us. We don't have a stovetop. We do have an induction that we would take out if we need it. We will either go with our air fryer, which we love, or Blackstone, or we do have, what's a big old bucket called that everybody uses again?
Instapot.
Instapot, yeah. Honestly, we have stopped using that too. Between the air fryer and the Blackstone, that's where it's at. Berkey water filter, I don't know how I feel about it. I wish they would design one that is actually travel friendly. Right now what we do is we empty it and we have one of these and set it in there and just put it on the ground. 12 volt solar fridge is what they call this thing, so it runs off of 12 volts. It only pulls 2 amps. We could run this thing for days. It works great. The only issue I have is you have to defrost it just like any other RV fridge. That's it. We have 2 Air Max fans up here that are covered right now because it's 90 degrees outside and it is ridiculously hot. We have your standard size counter here with an Ikea kitchen sink. This sink is not only for our kitchen but also for our bathroom. Being in such a small space, we figured why have 2 sinks? It makes no sense whatsoever. So what we do is we do have a sliding door here if we need privacy for changing or to extend our bathroom. We do have a sliding door here for the master bedroom. Yeah, our bed is really high. The reason being is we have a original storage door in the back. So the bed needed to be in between that door and the back window. So that was really the only place it could go. From the back, I've got about halfway storage where we can put all the RV equipment and everything else. And then up here we have a couple of drawers for clothing. So we have another sliding door here in case someone needs to use the toilet, somebody else uses the sink. We have the Nature's Head toilet, had it for 2 years and no comment. That's how I'm going to leave that one. And we have a homemade shower. Don't judge me too much. It has worked for 2 years. Bathrooms are really tough. I would recommend to go with a prefab of some sort. We have a complete sealed bottom, so nothing can get in from underneath, which is great because our tanks are fully insulated. We were in 8 degrees, nothing froze. Our lines are insulated, everything is insulated. This panel, for example, is our water pump and disconnect switch and everything for our waters. There is a long strip right here of a panel, and this allows us to get to all of our fresh tanks and every single fitting. So you can get to everything if something were to happen. You probably just heard me say tanks. We have 4 fresh tanks. Was that? No, that's 3. That would be 4. 4 fresh tanks. The reason being is we didn't want to cut the factory frame at all. We needed to find tanks that would fit in between the frame. We altogether have about 90 gallons of fresh water, which is just in this floor, and it's literally this big, our floor. It's ridiculous. So it fits but we're having some issues with the flooring. Again, that is something we're going to be tackling in the next month. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along on this tour. And again, if you are interested in our story or this, we are Home Meets Road. We are a family of 3 living full-time in our rebuilt vintage travel trailer. We share the good, the bad, and the ugly of building your own RV and living the full-time nomadic life. So thanks for watching. Happy travels.
She's a happy girl. I know we're behind the scenes right now, filming. Ooh, that's a big engine.